Hello, my friends. This is Jalal, and I had a wonderful conversation with my friend Demetrius, who works in Emeryville at a great restaurant. If you want to know which one, I'd be happy to tell you. He's just a great guy. Demetrius, lots of love to you, my friend. Really glad to have our connection, our friendship. So we had a conversation about should and try, and we're both wanting to be our best, to do our best, to be true to ourselves. And we were catching each other. I was kind of listening to him shoulding a little bit, and then he wasn't shoulding, but then there was a try that came up. So I was sort of like, I heard you say that. And what we both agreed on was that sense of how the should is just this like obligation. It's a pressure, and we can do it to ourselves. Others can do it to us. So what I was feeling as I want to talk about today, and there might be a couple of videos, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, is a sense of waiting. And when we're not certain about something, then we feel pressured, or we can pressure ourselves. Or either yes or no. Usually it's a yes. Or maybe it's I don't want to do it. It could go either way, right? So you could imagine whatever scenario for yourself that this applies to. Like I should call them, or whatever. I should go dancing. I was supposed to go dancing. I wanted to go dancing today in the morning, but I didn't. I had the sense that I wanted to go. I could see myself dancing, but it just didn't happen. My body wanted rest more than it wanted to get up, and do that. But I had said yes on the Facebook invite, and I felt bad about that. I felt that maybe I'm not really certain. Like the yes is more of I really, 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 really want to go. But I also sometimes trust spontaneity. I trust how that happens for me, the spontaneity. So my thought is, do you know your frequency? Do you know your frequency? And there's, from some of the systems that I've studied, and just observation, simple observation of our nature, human nature, is some things we can commit to very easily and be confident in. Like, I'm going to have breakfast. There's not much doubt about that, probably, right? Hopefully for most of us, as long as whatever breakfast is. Some people apparently do live on light, and more power to them. But most of us need to eat, or we choose to eat. But then if it's, I'm going to go there today, or I'm going to hang out with them, I'm going to finish this project, I'm going to send that email, I'm going to call that person, or I should, then we may have an intention, but maybe it needs some time to get clear. So the frequency can sometimes, I sense this rising and then cresting and then kind of, or it can just build, and then we get to a point where yes, the energy's all there, and then we can commit and everything happens and it unfolds just right. But sometimes I know for myself very clearly that I can have a desire, but then it doesn't become really solid for some time, a couple days, a week, sometimes months. Even if it's something I really, really want to do, some things I can't totally commit to. Like if you just meet somebody, I mean, if they say, do you want to marry me at the first date, how many of us would actually say yes and really be confident in that? Right? Not that often, not that likely. I know a few people who've actually met and have had that storybook. I knew the first moment I saw you, or I knew when I saw you, I met you, that we were going to get married, although I didn't know exactly when, or we were going to be together. But our own frequency of experiencing something, of having it come into our being and move within us and feel it out and think about it and feel about it, and I'd almost suggest, based on my own experience, that to really sense what our body is leading us toward, to have somebody we trust ask us questions, to that's the whole questioning thing, which I will definitely get more into. Questions, yes or no, simple yes or no questions are ultra amazingly powerful and penetrating, clarifying. They're very clarifying if you can engage in them. And most of us can. Most of us are meant to. It's like our bodies are really meant to respond to being asked things, to being offered things. So I know that my frequency is I can be very spontaneous, and it works for me most of the time. Almost all the time, if I trust in something happening spontaneously, if I don't get tickets to the last minute, then that's just the way it is. Or if I don't buy an airline ticket unless I'm really, really certain, I just feel with all of my being that this is somewhere I want to be, I won't do it. I have done it, and I have had to cancel and reschedule, and then there's all that stress about that. So many people want to have a tendency to obligate. Not everybody, obviously, but there's certain people we probably know that make us feel like we have to say yes, and it's not healthy for us. If you know that your frequency is, you need to sense and take your time to get into it, to feel into it, to experience it, to get to know them, or just to have your whole day unfold before you can commit at 5 o'clock. Yes, I still have enough energy, or I still have the desire to go hang out after work tonight. So that each person's frequency, and some will have a bigger high and a bigger low than others, and some can stay more stable and kind of sense, yeah, I think I'll be cool. I want to do that. Yeah, I'm on board. So there's the sense of whether you're meant to be more spontaneous with things, or from, depending on what the decision is, or to take more time. I've bought cars spontaneously when it really felt right, and never looked back and regretted it at all. I've jumped into relationships very quickly that I didn't regret, as long as I really felt very clear about it. But usually, especially when it comes to maybe more animate objects and animate commitments with people, and it's usually good for most of us to take a little bit of time to wait. And I will be talking about this more, what my experiences with this, and also some of the guidance from the system, the embodiment system that I've been learning and studying, which is called multidimensional human design. And it really emphasizes how half of us are emotional and half of us are not emotional, which doesn't mean we don't feel, but the emotional beings, emotional people, or if you're feeling really emotional about something, really high or really low, it's not really a good time to make a decision that you can stick with. It's probably not going to be the most truthful decision. So taking a little bit more time, letting it sit with you, sleeping on it. And I sometimes like to suggest to women, don't kiss on the first date, especially if you have a tendency toward being emotional, because you can get really excited. I mean, I would be excited, the man or the partner, man, woman, man, whatever the case is, if you're really excited about somebody, but you know that your feelings can get really high and then everything's great, but then really low, and then there's nothing right with them. Giving yourself a couple days before you get that physical, that hormonal, sexual energy going, it's such a gift to give yourself. I mean, like, I've done charts for many women before I've gone on dates with them, and if I know that they're emotional, I will almost as a rule give them the respect of saying, I don't care how much I'm enjoying this, I'm not going to kiss you for your sake. Now, that's not an easy thing to do, but if I want them to really get to know me, then it's the most loving thing that I can do. If I'm not running a pattern, a scam, some pickup artist seduction shit, then I really want someone's authentic self. I want them to see me, and I want to see them, and I want to honor who they are, because the depth of expression that can come when somebody's really open and and willing to engage and willing to be there without fearing like, oh, is he really trustworthy or whatever. It's just awesome. It's a great feeling when, like, even if there's a whole week that goes by from the first date or whatever it is, you're like, damn, I can't wait to say I should have kissed him, and then you meet again, you're like, oh, it's even better now, or oh geez, there's just something that's not right, and I'm so glad I didn't have to go there. So that's a little bit about waiting and knowing your frequency and tuning in if you're very intensely emotional. And that's something I would love to be able to. I will talk about more my own experiences with being really, really emotional, and also being able to be very detached. So some of us we tend toward one or the other more. So I'll look forward to sharing more, and also I do really invite your comments or questions, and if you would like to take part in a dialogue, I totally welcome that as well. So thank you.